gamers, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Matthew, the man with a hat who reads, and it's time to talk about the month to come. This is my September TBR. Sci-Fi September is here once again. I am committing my month entirely to science fiction or sci-fi adjacent stuff for the month of September. Some of these are pretty sizable. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of these, but we're going to talk about them briefly here, and you will see just how crazy this month is going to be. So, one carryover yet, because I didn't get it finished, and that's M.R. Carey's The Fall of Coley. I am started. By the time you watch this, well, never mind. I won't be finished with it because you're watching this right after I'm filming it. So, I know I'm not going to get this done in August anymore. I have other books I want to get finished yet in August. And this is technically sci-fi, so it'll work to be carried over into the next month. I am enjoying this series so far. I'm going to be doing a review of the whole trilogy as soon as I finish. So look for that video in the coming weeks, probably a week and a half or so from now. So that'll probably be the first one I finish for September. Now we get into all the fun stuff. I'm going to be rereading Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And essentially I'm reading 5 of those books in one volume because I have this lovely omnibus edition of the 5 novels he wrote. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, Life, the Universe, and Everything, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, and Mostly Harmless. I haven't read these in years. It's been a long time since I tackled reading these, and they're such classics. They're just great, fun stories. This edition is over 800 pages. It's a very thick edition, but I think if I put my mind to it, I can get this one read over the month. I'll probably be spreading it out throughout the month. And then I want to do a video about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as well. And as if that wasn't that bad enough, I'm also going to be tackling Frank Herbert's Dune. Another thick boy. Only this one, the print's a lot smaller than it is in that one. I guess this isn't as bad as I thought it was. 600 some odd pages. So, MJ is hosting a read-along of this, or at least she planned on it. I don't know. There was debate whether to move it and delay it till January, since the movie has been delayed now until March, which I'm bummed about, but I've already committed myself to tackling this one in September. I want to get it read this year. I've tried to read this a few years ago and I failed. I just couldn't get into it. So hopefully I'm going to get into it this time. I've heard really good things from people. So I'm hoping to get, those two alone plus Fall of Coley. That's, let's see, 8. That's almost 2,000 pages right there. That's just 3 books. There's a lot of, and I have a lot more here to tackle yet. So, this is Edward Ashton's Mickey 7. Not terribly thick. It's one I've wanted to read for a while. Essentially, our character is on his 7th iteration, living and dying among his fellow colonists on the near uninhabitable ice world of Niflheim. Niflheim. Oh, of course. That makes sense. But when they think he has died, they activate his next version and he's still alive. So, sci-fi, clones, deep space. I've wanted to read it for a while. It's going to be a movie, I believe, next April. Bong Joon-ho, who of course directed Parasite, is directing it, so I'm already excited about the movie. And the book sounds really good. I've heard really good things. I want to tackle that too. We have a lot of sci-fi here, so I also picked up a biography. This biography is only about 270 pages, but for some reason the type is like minuscule in here. I don't know why. But this is Anthony Daniels' I Am C-3PO, The Inside Story. It's a memoir of Anthony Daniels, of course, C-3PO himself. So, being the Star Wars person I am, and if you're doing Sci-Fi September, you got to read something with Star Wars. So, here we are. Yeah, the print is small, but I think it'll move pretty quickly. So, and speaking of Star Wars, like I said, you can't have Sci-Fi September without a Star Wars. I have Martha Wells' Star Wars Razor's Edge. This is set during, I think, like after A New Hope. I've never read this one. It's one of the few I haven't read from that era. So, yeah, it'd be a good one, I figured, for Sci-Fi September, of course. We have The Man Who Fell to Earth from Walter Tevis. The guy's an alien. He ends up on Earth disguised as a human. And it goes from there. The main reason I picked this up and want to read it is because I really enjoyed Walter Tevis's The Queen's Gambit here last year, I believe it was. And I want to read more from him because I liked his writing style. I found that he wrote this sci-fi novel, and it's not very long at all. I think it's like 185 pages. It looks a lot thicker than it actually is. I think this one will be a fairly quick read for me. I hope. I mean, it sounds good, and I need to read more of this Masterworks stuff. I mean, as much as I like sci-fi, I haven't really read a lot of sci-fi this year or any other recent years. That's why I started doing Sci-Fi September, to kind of get some of these other ones I want to read. These next two, I've never read these authors. So I have no idea what I'm in for. First up, we have Stark Holborn's 10 Low. I love this cover. This cover is very, it's really kind of, it's a nice colorful cover, but, let's see. 10 Low is eking out a living at the universe's edge, an ex-medic, ex-con, desperate to escape her memories of the war. She still hasn't learned that no good deed goes unpunished. Attempting to atone for her sins, she pulls a teenage girl from a crashed life craft. And yeah. I don't know, it sounds interesting. The cover's good. It says it's fantastic, punchy sci-fi action on the cover, and that's from Adrian Tchaikovsky, which I've never read any of his stuff, but I know a lot of people love his stuff. So, yeah. Again, not very long. Oh, never mind, I take it back. Okay, how does that work? These books don't look that much difference in length when you look at them side by side. This one does look a little longer, but yet this one is like almost double the length of this one. Paper thickness makes a difference. Then we have Kieran Shea's Off Rock. They're mining on an asteroid and they find gold and they're trying to smuggle it off rock. I love this cover. I like the size of the font. It sounds really interesting. I'm very excited to give it a try here. I thought I saw something on the bottom of a page. I'm not finding it. I must be seeing things. Oh, you ever have that happen, guys? Again, I don't know much about it. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. I've never read this author before. It says on the cover that it's a damn good time and that Shea is the king of badass science fiction. So, I don't know. Well, I don't know. We'll see. This was like really cheap when I got it. I think it was like theoretically, with 3 books to his credit, Kieran Shea might be considered a novelist. Wait, what? Professional liar might be another way of putting it. He is proud of all his crimes. That's the best about the author thing I've read in a while, but I am curious for it. It was like dirt cheap when I got it. I think it was like $3 through my one catalog I ordered through. So I thought, for that, I'll try it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Then we have Jeannie Koch's Alien Proliferation. I've talked about this series a little bit in the channel before. It's essentially sci-fi smut. I've read a few of them in this series. I don't know how much farther I'm going to go with this series because there's like 13, 14 of them, I think, out there. Maybe more than that. This is the 4th one. The first one was entertaining. I thought it was fine. Second one, same thing. Third one, it felt like this was getting a little stale. It felt like it was dragging on a little bit. This one is again, a fairly long book. I usually fly through these pretty quick. They're pretty brainless. You don't have to think too hard about them, but I don't know if I'm going to keep reading this series. This is going to be kind of the decider for me if I want to keep it up or not. But finally, if I have time, yeah, right. One of these I've read before. One of them I was always going to read, but I thought I'd reread the first one before I read the next one. And then it's been sitting here for, gosh, I don't even know how long anymore. Years by this point. But these are Planet of the Apes novels. Specifically after the new trilogy they did. This one is set right after Rise of the Planet of the Apes ends and leads into Dawn. And then the other one is, of course, after Dawn, leading into War. And I want to rewatch all three of the movies. And I thought if I have time, I'll watch the movies and then read the books as I go with watching the movie. So I'll watch Rise, read the book, watch Dawn, read the book, watch War. If I get time. Like I said, this one I've read before. This one I've had sitting here for quite a while at this point and haven't tackled yet. So I do want to get those read sometime, and this might be the way to do it. I mean, they're sci-fi. It's Planet of the Apes. It's sci-fi. So yeah, I have a lot of books I want to read this month. If I can get them lifted up here or not, I don't know. Oh God, don't drop them. Don't drop them. Don't drop them. Money shot. Here we go. Ugh. I have a lot of books I want to read this month in the sci-fi genre. If I get all of these read, I'm going to have to go shopping because I won't have any sci-fi really for next year. What am I going to do? No, I'm kidding. I got some other sci-fi. But yeah, that's my TBR for Sci-Fi September. If you're liking sci-fi type videos, there's going to be I'm going to try to get a bunch of that kind of stuff done in September, and the same with October. There'll be October of Horror stuff. I'm really excited for this month. I've been looking forward to it actually since like April. I've been looking forward to tackling some of these in September. So that's my TBR for the Sci-Fi September. What's on your guys' TBR for the month? Do any of these sound good to you? Have you read any of these? Would you read any of these? Whatever. I'd love to get a discussion going with you in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep turning pages.